My MasterChef buddy Amina is joining me today, and we're going to be cooking something that you make for your family all the time.
Yeah, probably not enough of, but yes. We're going to make a really wonderful Middle Eastern dish known as Mahshi Dejaj. Mahshi meaning stuffed and Dejaj chicken.
Oh.
So yes, it's a nice spin on the roast chook.
This is, and there's rice, so are we stuffing the chook?
Yes, it's a really nice fragrant aromatic rice. So let's get this started.
Okay.
So a nice and hot pan. And if you can pass me the ghee, please.
Can do.
So if you don't have ghee, then you can use butter.
I love ghee.
Oh, it's really nice when you're cooking dishes like this.
It's clarified butter, but it's
It
also
is.
been slightly fermented, so you get that bit of a funk to it.
A little bit of a funk to it, but
Yep.
you know, it's a nice funk, especially when
Yes.
you're cooking all of these lovely things through. So we've got some finely chopped up onions here that we're going to add on. I'll just borrow that wooden spoon if you don't mind. So we're going to add those in.
And ghee also, when you're cooking at high temperatures, it doesn't burn.
It
so
doesn't
you're
burn
safe.
like butter, correct, yeah. So you don't get that discoloration.
Exactly.
Now, the onions really do make this dish because the sweetness of the onions come through the rice, the lamb, the spices. So, yeah, be generous with the onions.
Every culture has their own sort of chicken and rice dish.
Yes.
In France, we have our own too.
Of course.
And this is the Middle Eastern version.
Yes.
It's like the ultimate comfort food. When you said you wanted to make this dish, I was like drooling, like, yes, please. And it's because of the distinct spices that you add to this.
Yes.
Talk me through the spices we're using.
So the signature spice of Middle Eastern cooking is what we call baharat, which is the known as seven spices. It's also known as the Middle Eastern seven spice mix or Arab spice seven spice mix. And it's, you know, you can smell it. You can smell the mace, the cinnamon, the cardamom through it.
Yeah.
It's a must in every Middle Eastern household. And now we've got our minced garlic.
Yes.
I'm going to add that in.
Is that about 1 or 2 cloves?
About 2 cloves by
Yep.
the time you mince it up. And then we'll add our lamb mince now.
Right.
Now, the lamb mince is not essential, but it does, like in the old days before, you know, you were making stock or the easily ready available stock that, you know, you could get.
Yeah.
The mince was there just to help flavour the rice.
Right, okay.
So it's only if you want,
Yeah.
but I'm going to do it because I want that rice to be really
Yeah.
nice and flavourful.
Becomes a real special sort of Sunday roast style dish
Oh, it does.
with 2 meats in there,
Yeah.
loads of spices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do want to tell you, Justine, I mean, I'm making a bit extra. I mean,
Okay.
not all of this will fit in the chicken,
Yep.
but I always like to have a bit of rice on the side.
I'm okay with that too.
Yeah.
And speaking of rice, we're going to be using some jasmine rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can use jasmine rice. Otherwise, if you can get your hands on some medium grain rice for this rice dish,
Right.
I wouldn't use a basmati or a really loose sort of a rice.
Yes.
And you know, this is great because it holds its shape, but it's got that softness to it. It doesn't fall apart when you cook it.
Right.
So it's ideal for the stuffing.
And has this just been rinsed?
So it's soaked in for about 15 minutes just to get rid of some of that extra starch.
Yes, yes.
With good rinse and then just drain it off and it's ready to use. But the mince is just cooking, as you can see, and this is the perfect time now to add all our spices in.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to start with our baharat. So in that goes. We've also got a little bit of cinnamon. Cinnamon with meat in Middle Eastern cooking, signature.
Yeah. And that's not a little bit, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Because by the time you cook the rice, it'll absorb quite a lot of
Yeah.
the spices and the flavour.
Yep.
And then ground cardamom.
Oh, I love that too.
Yeah, ground cardamom's beautiful. You can smell it all coming together now.
A lot of these spices we have in our pantry, and they
Yes.
just sit there gathering dust. This is a great opportunity to bring them out
Really
and
use
make
them.
this flavoursome rice. Yeah.
Yep. And then we're going to add some nuts. We want to add a bit of texture to it.
Yeah.
But also, I think it just makes it all so lovely and wonderful, so, you know, jewelled.
Yes.
And make sure you toast the nuts before you add them in because otherwise they go soggy and, yeah, you don't want that.
Great tip. Yep.
Now, I'm using currants for this dish, but if you want a little bit of sourness, you can also get some barberries.
Oh, right.
And barberries, just they're bouncy, but they just give that little bit of sourness to the rice.
Yep.
So that's all come together really nicely. So we're going to add our rice in now.
Okay.
Please.
And it goes. How much rice have we got here?
I've got 2 cups worth of rice here.
Okay.
So just enough for the chicken as well as some extras.
Yep.
And of course, some salt too.
Don't forget the salt.
Don't forget the salt. And you don't realise how much salt is used up, especially when you're cooking cooking rice dishes like this.
Yep.
And to finish this off,
Yep.
we're going to add our chicken stock to it. Make sure that chicken stock is nice and hot.
Right. Okay, another great tip. You don't want to add it cold.
No, because it just takes longer to cook, and then also that rice will start to get a bit too starchy. Okay. So you're basically getting that rice ready to cook immediately.
Fantastic.
Okay, so we'll just pop that down there. And you can see there's definitely enough liquid there for the rice to cook through, and it won't be dry either.
Very nice.
So that's all done, and we'll cover it. Now, gentle simmer to cook it off for the next 20 or so minutes. Now, this lid has a little bit of a hole there, and we don't want any of that steam to escape. So we're going to use baking paper like this, and we'll just make sure it's a nice tight seal so we don't lose any of that steam. So while the rice is cooking away, let's get our chicken ready.
Okay.
And we're going to do a little bit of a marinade for it because we want all that meat as well as the skin to go a little bit crispy, but again, retain a lot of flavour to it as well. So we'll add some ghee to that, please.
Okay, how much?
Yeah, about a tablespoon's worth.
Tablespoon.
Yep.
There we go.
And then we've got our salt, of course. So we're using
salt.
fine salt rather than a coarse salt because we want it to get through nice and easily through between the flesh and the skin. And of course some more of that baharat because, baharat, you know, it's just delicious. We'll mix that through. And what you want to do with your chicken is basically separate the skin from the flesh.
Okay.
And you've got to do this really gently so you try not to break the skin.
Yep.
Okay. And you're going all the way down basically. And even around the drumsticks as well.
Yep.
Or the legs. So you can add that through. And
I mean, this would be just delicious as is with the rice, but adding this additional flavour, wow.
Yeah, it just gives more flavour to the flesh because, you know, at the end of the day, you've got all of that that's not covered with any flavour. So just adding a bit more flavour, you get a really nice roast chook.
Very nice. All right, we'll finish doing that. Wait for our rice to cook. We can stuff it.
Yes, sounds good.
Moment of truth.
Yep, that rice should be cooked.
All right, lid
Here
off.
we go. Lid off.
Baking paper.
Oh, see? That's what I'm talking about. Look at that. So we're going to separate some of this rice because we're not going to use all of it for the stuffing, obviously.
That's for me later.
Yes.
But you would serve it on the side with this because it's a whole meal in
Definitely.
itself. Yeah.
Yeah, because what I like to do is take the chicken off the baking tray and put the rice at the bottom or on the side and the chicken on top.
Perfect.
Yeah. So just enough for the stuffing. I think just a little bit more.
Yep.
That should be enough.
Okay.
And we will leave this aside.
Yep, I can get that out of your way.
Yep, please. Thank you.
Go.
There we go. So just make sure that cavity is clean, obviously.
Yep.
And we're just going to slowly stuff this.
Yummy. Chicken and stuffing.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, and also this rice is delicious as is, but just imagine when that chook is roasting in the oven, all of those juices flavouring that rice even more. Just fantastic. So this now goes into the oven.
Yes, this will go into the oven about 20 minutes at 200 because we want it really nice and hot first.
Okay.
And then a nice cook, 170 for about 40 minutes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Amina, this chicken is a thing of beauty. It's all blistered up and golden.
That's all thanks to that ghee and the baharat, and you can smell it, the spices.
So good.
It's ready to go. And you know, we've got some of that leftover rice from before, so just make sure it's nice and hot. And what we're going to do is we're just going to spoon it over a platter like this because this rice is just so delicious with that chicken.
I made a lot of rice dishes this year on Everyday Gourmet, but I think this is my favourite. I just love the spices through it
It's really nice.
that pop of sweetness and the crunch of the nuts there. It's just the best.
You know what's really nice with this sometimes? Like I just cook it on my own sometimes, you know, with a bit of yogurt on the side.
Oh, beautiful.
Very nice.
Yeah, and this is how I was about to ask, is there anything else you would serve with it? But just a simple yogurt.
You could have yogurt on the side or you don't have to.
Yeah.
A nice little fresh sort of, rocket salad or something like that. And that's it. Just nice and simple. All right. Can I trouble you to pop the chook on, please?
I'd love to.
You got it.
There we go. And have a look at that gorgeous rice stuffing. It's almost swelled up even more.
Yeah. It's taken on a lot of the juices from the chicken when it cooks.
Yes.
But you know what? We can't forget some of this oil. Because that just glossens up that chicken a little bit and adds a bit more of that sauce to the rice. There we go.
Can't stop smiling. This is my kind of food. Gorgeous roast chook, a stunning stuffing, and the best part about it is there's more stuffing around it, loads of rice to serve with it. Oh, Amina, you're a legend, thank you. Can't wait to dig into that.